So many people are like, influencers aren't relatable anymore. Like, I follow a lot of moms. I find them to be a little bit more relatable because they do more day-to-day things where I'm like, okay, like I can see myself in this more than someone who's 23 and buying a house and a car. Welcome back to another episode of Mean Girl Pod. Pew, pew, pew.
Cheers from afar. I love the green.
Thank you. Today I'm drinking Ultra Paradise, which literally tastes exactly like a green apple Jolly Rancher.
Oh my gosh, you know what? I hadn't had that one yet. Pre-pregnancy. I never drank it. I didn't taste it.
It's very good. I just tried it today for the first time and I am loving it because we love Monster Energy Ultra at Mean Girl Pod because every episode is sponsored by Monster Energy Ultra.
So you guys go to your... They're sold everywhere. Everywhere I go, I see those claws. I see the Ultras. So go and get in on the Monster game, which I will be doing after the baby arrives, after I'm pregnant, after I'm not pregnant anymore. But for now, I just have my tea. So I'm very jealous of you.
Now that we work with Monster, I see Monster everywhere. Like I was watching The Hills yesterday and I saw Monster in the background of one of the episodes and I was like, okay, I see you.
Oh my gosh, who was drinking it?
It was like a sign at one of the parties that Heidi was putting on.
Good old Heidi, Spidey. They really lasted the test of time, those two.
Alex, I am sickly obsessed with The Hills. Like, it is the best reality TV I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's so good, and they all stayed so relevant. And so at the time, like, it's funny because you're watching it now, and like Spencer and Heidi made it. But at the time, like the whole thing was that those two aren't going to make it, or are they? Like we were all like, they're definitely going to get divorced after 3 years. They're not even going to get married. And it's like fast forward to now and you see them living the life.
I know it's crazy because I stalk all of them hardcore on Instagram because I'm like a new fan and I like see who's following who. And in the show, you think like, oh, Heidi or Adrina and Lauren will stay friends forever. Lauren and Stephanie won't be friends anymore. Lauren and Brody will be friends forever. But then you look on Instagram and it's like Lauren's not friends with Adrina. Lauren is still friends with Lo. I don't know if she's friends with Heidi. They do, or not Heidi, sorry. I don't know if she's friends with Stephanie. They do follow each other on Instagram still, but she doesn't follow Brody anymore. She literally only follows Stephanie and Lo pretty much from that whole, and Steven from that whole franchise.
Lauren to me was my letdown of like, of course she's still extremely relevant, but I love that. Like, I love that Kristen will have like everyone on her show and like she'll dip her toe back into like The Hills because it's what made them all. And I feel like LC has like kind of distanced herself from that whole thing. And it makes me sad because I'm like, never forget where you came from.
I know. I think that she was just burned the worst. It's like always go back to your home. But if you're burned at a place for your mental health, I think it's just better that you don't associate yourself. Like, I don't think Kristen was nearly as burned because she was in 2 seasons of Laguna Beach. And then I think she comes back in The Hills. Heidi and Spencer, they just, need to stay in the limelight to stay relevant. But I think Lauren was just like, F this. I was screwed over so many times. I actually have a successful career and I need to just get away from this and be done. Even though it makes me so sad because I would love to see her just like chit chat and have a reunion with everyone.
I completely agree. It's the one show that like back in the day. Wait, have you made it to the end yet? Did you know what we were talking about? Okay.
Do not spoil. I will kill you.
You've got to tell us. I saw this thing on E! News the other day and they put out like a Bridgerton spoiler of like who what's it called?
Whistledown?
Who Miss Whistledown was. And everyone was like, you spoiled it. And everyone's like, no, this isn't a spoiler. Like this is a year or two later. And it's like, how have you not seen? It's like 20 years later. Well, you don't know the ending.
I maybe do, but maybe my brain just doesn't recall it because I didn't find any of that stuff interesting. So maybe I'll watch the ending and be like, whoa. But also I think Lauren stays out of it because what I was thinking today is to be on that show and to stay relevant on that show, you either have to be friends with Lauren, date Lauren, or have beef with Lauren. And so she's kind of like the vein of everyone's existence. So she probably was just torn apart, couldn't trust anyone. Because I was watching the episode where Stephanie goes on a date with Doug, even though Doug and Lauren were a thing, and she goes behind Lauren's back. And then the last episode, Adrena and Lauren were drifting apart, and I'm like, Lauren's probably like, I can't trust any of these people because they just latch on to me, so they get screen time.
Yeah, no, it's so true. I don't remember it that well now at this point of what happened like right after the show. Like I can't remember if she stayed in it a little and has faded slowly out of it, or
I'm on season 4 and she's still hardcore in it. Like she's still the main character, and there's 6 seasons total.
Yeah, no, I mean after the 6th season ended, like in real time, did she stay around? Like that's the part that I can't remember. Somebody will tell us. Like, how did she just like immediately distance herself, or was it a slow fade out? That's what I can't remember.
Well, Pete decided to spoil something for me, and I guess like she leaves at the last season and Kristen Cavallari steps in, which I didn't know. So thanks for that, Pete, because he was a big Hills of Laguna Beach fan. So I would assume when she leaves, she just starts to fade out. But then Whitney gets her own show, and I know Whitney and Lauren are friends. I don't know. I'm just like sickly so obsessed with these people right now.
Yeah, they did such a good job. It's like truly a good reality show, like truly good. Because they're not so like the Kardashians. You can't touch, right? Like no one's gonna live that life ever. But the Hills, it was rumored like they just went to the high school one day and had a casting. So it's like that could have happened to anybody. So it really did feel like reality.
Well, and with the Hills, it's very realistic drama, like your friends dating your exes, or like best friend drama where you don't like your best friend's boyfriend, family drama. And they all have jobs. Like they all go to work every day. They go to school. Like you don't see that on reality shows anymore unless it's like Vanderpump Rules, where it's like all revolved around a restaurant, which doesn't count in my mind. But like they all have separate jobs, and Lauren goes to school, Whitney went to school, Whitney graduated. So it's very real.
Yeah, and they really all did a good job of like no one really losing their mind. And it was such a fabulous show, and it will always be. I wish they had something like it today, but I don't think reality TV is quite the same.
I'll probably finish hopefully the series over the weekend because it's Memorial Weekend, and then I can tell you guys about the ending soon.
Yeah, no, well, we can talk with you about. You don't need to tell us about the ending because we all saw it.
Oh, that's
We're waiting
facts.
on
That's
you.
true.
We need you to catch up to discuss. There's one scene that we all need to discuss what we think happened because we'll just see. But speaking of I don't want to spoil it, but speaking of Memorial Weekend, I didn't know if it was this weekend. So it is. So this comes out on Memorial Day.
Correct. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Happy Memorial Day, everyone.
Are you doing anything for Memorial Weekend?
Well, I have a wedding. Oh my gosh. I have a wedding in Laguna Beach.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, I do. I'm going there Saturday morning. I have a black tie wedding in Laguna Beach. So I will send you some photos of all the places that you see on the show.
Is it Harrison or your side?
You know, it's Harrison, and with my past, I'm super excited. Here's why. In my past relationship, there wasn't a wedding I was a +1 to that I didn't know, right? Because we both from Oklahoma City, so everywhere we went together, we kind of knew each other's friends. But I'm like a true, like, we're both invited, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like one of your friends that I haven't met, and I've never gotten to like be a +1 like that to a wedding, and I'm so excited.
How do you feel being pregnant, just from like the stance of like, you're on your feet for a long time, you have to wear a nice dress and get ready, and I know you've been getting nauseous a lot. Like, how are you feeling about that?
Okay, I hope that, like, I never know what kind of day I'm gonna have until around 8 a.m. and I can kind of tell. Like 2 days ago, leveled, threw up all day long, and it's just like, but I knew around 8. I was like, this looks like a bad day, and I put on my comfy clothes and I stay in bed, and I surrender to the day, and I just work from bed. But I have this like vibe on the day of I'm excited to get dressed. I love seeing how people do weddings. I love ceremonies. Like, I love the whole to-do of a wedding. So I really hope I feel good. I'm excited to put on a dress. And so no, my friend Claire, though, did go to a wedding the other day and texted me, and she was like, don't wear heels. So I do have like really little heels. So I'm optimistic and I'm excited.
Can you wear a short dress to a black tie, or does it have to be a long dress? I've never been to a black tie wedding.
So I had a really cute bump-friendly dress that I like sent my mom and Sydney a photo of, and like this much of my ankles was showing, and they were like, that's technically not black tie, Alex. Like, that's really not black tie. And I was like, dang. So I had to get like a floor length dress. So apparently like true black tie is all the way down to the ground.
Oh, wow. It's like an actual gown.
Yeah. So I know. But I'm excited about that because it kind of just like covers more. But what about you? What are you doing?
Back to Rhode Island we go.
Yay! Is Pete going?
Yeah. So Pete has obviously been to Rhode Island because he's from New York, but he's never been to like my little corner of Rhode Island where my parents live, and I'm so excited to show him because it's literally my favorite place in the world, and I just can't wait to show him everything I talk about, going to like the restaurants, I like the coffee shops, so I'm very excited for us to go this weekend.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to hear what he thinks. I think he's gonna absolutely love it. You love it.
I do, and I love Rhode Island because every single time I bring someone there, they're like, you exceeded my expectations, even though you speak so highly of it. And I'm like, yeah, because no one talks about Rhode Island. Julie asked me how to spell Rhode Island the other day, and she's like a grammar queen. Like, people forget it's a state.
How did you not know how to spell Rhode Island?
I think a lot of people think it's like ODE or RODE or ROAD, but it's RHODE.
Yeah, wow. Okay, I knew it was a state. It is up there though. Like it is a little state.
Yeah.
That's going to be so much fun.
So much fun. And a lot of people only go to like Newport or Providence. So I'm excited to not show him those areas, even because he's already seen them.
Do you have an itinerary?
I do, but I'm not going to like share it too much just because the places that we're going are like right next to my parents, and I don't want to tell the world where I live.
Let's talk about Skims, because we all know how hard it is to find the perfect t-shirt, but you guys look no further because Skims, and of course Kim K, she gave us the perfect t-shirt. So it's summertime. We all need the basic best cotton t-shirt. I have the jersey t-shirt. Jordyn also has the jersey t-shirt, and we say, you know what? These are the softest t-shirts we've ever worn. She truly makes the best basics, and the best part is, you guys, they come in size extra, extra small all the way up until 4X. So whatever size you are, go and get it and make this summer the summer of true good basics that last a really long time. So go to skims.com, and if you haven't yet, be sure to let them know that we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey. Select our show under the drop-down menu that follows. And you guys, happy summer, happy basic t-shirts. Is there like something special that you're doing that like you love going and doing XYZ that is like a generic thing you can tell us?
Yeah, so there's this one coffee shop that I walk to whenever I'm there. It's like a 4-mile round trip. It's perfect. And you walk by the beach and then you get coffee. Actually, I don't know if I ever told you, but did I tell you that last summer I ran into somebody that was mutuals of yours?
No, I don't think so.
I didn't tell you that?
It's kind of ringing a bell. Do you know who it was?
I don't remember his name, but he went to he went to high school with you, or his sister did, or something. There was some type of mutual connection with you. He was from Oklahoma, and he was just like, oh my gosh, I know Alex. And I was like, what a small world that like I'm from Minnesota and I'm here. You're from Oklahoma and you're here. You know Alex. Like, this is just crazy.
No, I do remember this. I can't remember who it was, but I do think you told me. Yeah, that's nice. No, I can't think of who. No, but it is ringing a bell. Yes. Long story short, yes.
Yeah, so that, and then like a few restaurants and the beach and stuff. So I'm excited. It'll be fun.
Oh, it's going to be so fun. So were your parents there for the summer?
Yeah, so they got there like 2 weeks ago, and then they'll do, since they're like full-blown snowbirds now, they'll do the whole summer and then probably go back to Florida in like end of September, maybe early October.
Oh, just chasing the good weather. I love it.
I know, living my dream.
Really, though, that's so nice. Okay, yay. Well, I can't wait to hear what Pete thinks, even though we know Pete's going to love it.
I know. I will give you guys a full update next episode on what Pete thinks of Rhode Island and all the shenanigans we get into. Even though we won't get into any, because I love being just a coastal grandma in the summer.
By shenanigans, we mean no shenanigans, but that's still shenanigans. Shenanigans can mean whatever. Maybe you won't. Hopefully you don't have a stingray story to tell us. Like you walked into that one.
When we were in Florida when we went to West Palm Beach a few weeks ago, I was so scared to go in the water. We were like doing the stingray shuffle, even though it's not stingray season anymore, but that will scar me for the rest of my life.
I'm secondhand afraid to go into the ocean. Like just hearing that, I'll never forget you saying it got poked and it was just like a flood water. Like it was like a hose of blood. Like I don't want that.
No. So I'm very excited to just be a coastal grandma. It's funny because I think a lot of people forget that you and I are in our 30s and close to our 30s, because the amount of comments I get that it's like, why do you want to settle down, move, this or that? And someone yesterday was like, why don't you want to move to Miami versus West Palm? And I was like, because I want to find a place that I can like settle down and one day get married, raise a family, and not have to move. And I'm like, I think people forget our age sometimes, that we're in our 30s practically.
Totally. No, I completely agree. And there's like nothing more. Remember like a couple episodes ago, was it your roommate or your friend that wanted to move out of New York? And
My
she
roommate.
was like, your roommate. And she was like struggling with it. And she was like, I feel like I'm leaving the big city. And we were like, no, because it's like you did it. And like you sowed, I know I say sowed those oats, but you sowed that like those oats, and that New York's exhausting, but it's the best ever, right? And like we're so thankful to have lived there. But it's like there is a time where I think your body just says, Sam Taylor, who is in a Just Media creator, like she was just putting flowers all over her house the other day. And I was watching her on Instagram and she was like, I cleaned my house. And I was like, you have like a house and you go to the store and like you cook your meat, and it's just like this lovely everyday normal for people. But like I crave that. And I think you crave that. And I think it's completely a good thing.
Yeah. And I also think too, like 2 years in New York is like 10 years for some people in the Midwest or Oklahoma. Like you and I had 2 very, very fun years of running around like crazy kids. And I will never regret those. They were the best summers. Like we went to the Hamptons, we went to Miami, we traveled so much and I had such a blast. But man, did that age me like 5 years. Like I'm tired. Like I just want to sit on a deck and drink some wine and read a book.
We had so much fun. Like it's so funny, like even just to list those places, and I think back to those memories. Like we would get ready, we would go to our rooms at like 2-3 p.m. We would have get ready periods. We'd meet back down, like we'd be decked to the nines. Like we had so much fun. But it's like now it makes us appreciate. It's like we earned this slower life that we're both really craving.
And like I also feel like our values are changing, where we both want, I mean, you're about to have a little family, so you need space, but we want space and we want privacy and security, and I just want a yard and a dog. Like that's what I want.
Dude, I want to plant flowers. I've never wanted to plant a flower in my life. I want to garden. I want to grow mint. I want to grow tomatoes. And said me literally never.
Who are you?
I know. And I'm like, I want a yard. I'm with you. I want a yard. So I guess let's talk then about how we feel about doing the remote recording, because I have to say, like, I love the flexibility of it.
I absolutely love it too. Like a few people I've seen like DMs and comments, and they're like, are you guys ever going to record together again? And yeah, like I think you'll come back to New York a few times, and we will, but that's just kind of like the way of life. And I love the flexibility, and I don't care what anyone says, I will not be living in New York past Pete's lease, and like you're living in Texas, and like that's just the way of life. Like I love being able to just kind of be anywhere and know that I don't have to live in New York for the next 5 years. Like I can just move where I need to. That's my happy place, and we can keep recording.
Yeah, and I think it makes the conversation fun too, right? Because it's like we used to be niche to New York, and that was like the life we were living. Yeah, we would go to the Hamptons, and people wanted to hear about that. But now it's like you can talk about what's going on. Let's say you move to West Palm. What's going on in West Palm or wherever you decide to move. And it's like, you know, you probably don't know a lot about Austin. I don't yet either, but it will be fun, like making my first friend here, you making your first friend there, and like sharing those times. And I think it's really cool to have that flexibility that I don't think we always knew we had until we started trying it.
Yeah, I am so unbelievably grateful for the flexibility we have and being able to work for ourselves. Like I like thank the world every single day for that, because I genuinely could not ever go back to sitting in an office 5 days a week. I don't know how we did it before COVID, and like Pete does it now, and I think he's fine with it. Like that's all he really knows, because he works for a company that's kind of like after COVID they went back pretty quickly. But I am just like, I'm so grateful for the flexibility we have. And also too, it's going to be so exciting seeing both of us establish like new lives in these new areas, and you becoming a mom and raising a kid, and I think the conversation becomes more relatable, because sometimes, and this is like a big topic right now on social media, is that, and I'm not calling us influencers, like we're podcasters, content creators, business people, but a lot of times a lot of people are saying that content creators, influencers aren't relatable anymore. And I'm trying to tie this into this like big thing on TikTok right now. I don't know if you know who the creator Hallie Kate is.
Yes, the girl that got the house.
Oh, okay. If you saw it, that means it's going viral.
Yeah. I somebody sent it to me, and they were like, "Whoa, influencer money, go hard."
Yeah, and she's 23. She just bought a house in the Hamptons, and then she just bought a car that same day, and she posted it online. And so many people are like, influencers aren't relatable anymore, like all this stuff. And it's like, I agree. Like, I think a lot of influencers aren't relatable. This is no shade to Hallie. I think what she was able to accomplish is absolutely like insane. Like, go girl. Like, I've met her and she's the nicest person ever. I follow her on everything. I love her content. But it is really nice to find creators that are a little bit more relatable. Like, I follow a lot of moms on social media because I find them, not that I'm a mom at all, but I find them to be a little bit more relatable because they do more day-to-day things where I'm like, okay, like I can see myself in this more than someone who's 23 and buying a house and a car, because I can't do that right now.
Totally. No, totally. And I think that people can say too, okay, like I followed you guys since you started the podcast, and now you both moved, and now like Alex has a family, and like you and Pete will get married, and like they'll grow up with us in that way. And I think it's really cool to give people a front row look into that, which is what we're doing.
Yeah. And something I really enjoy about our platforms is I feel like you and I have always tried to be and stay very relatable and try to show people like the problems you go through, we go through, the struggles you deal with, like you're not alone, like we're your besties in your ear. And I feel like as we grow and you start to raise a child and I move, like people will be able to be like, oh my gosh, like she's my bestie mom in my ear. Oh my gosh, Jordyn's getting married one day. She's my bestie, like bride in my ear. You know what I mean? Like it's exciting.
Let's pause to talk about OUAI, because you guys know what? There's nothing better than having a salon grade hairstyle and being able to do it at home. OUAI wants to give you the confidence to live your way, pun intended, especially on wash day. Whether your strands are fine, medium, or thick, OUAI has a shampoo and a conditioner that's your type. So if you guys want volume, if you're in between fine and thick hair and you can't find the perfect product that works for you, or if you want moisture so rich you'll need a prenup, that's a good one, then you guys, OUAI is for you. So you guys know Jordyn and I absolutely love OUAI. Jordyn always has the shiniest, best hair ever, and it's because she uses OUAI. So you guys get in on the goods. Go to theouai.com, that's THEOUAI.com, and use code MEANGIRL for 15% off your entire purchase. That's THEOUAI.com, code Mean Girl for 15% off the whole entire order. Enjoy. And you know what? There's nothing better than a good hair day. I totally agree. That's something I'm trying like right now. I found it almost not disheartening, but a bit disheartening how pregnancy was perceived online. Like a girl in like I just had this image of a girl saying like she was so connected to her body and like a really cute outfit, like her house clean behind her. And it's like one thing I don't identify with that is that journey of pregnancy, right? Like I'm just having a much harder time than that. And while I'm so thankful, it's not lost on me that I should be very thankful that I got pregnant quick. I am, but it doesn't change the journey I'm having. And so it's like these little stages of life we go through. It's like I do see how pregnancy was unrelatable online. Tank Sinatra's Mother's Day post was sent to me, and it was like, Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Can we stop acting like your house is spotless? Because these mom influencers are totally unrelatable. And it's like that was a corner of the internet that I'd never really looked at or could identify with. But when I got to that stage of life, I found it to be like, wow. And there are moms now where I can go and I find like pregnancy unfiltered on there somewhere. But that was an example of like what you're talking about, where I was like, I got to this stage and I was like, dang, everyone seems to be doing it so perfect. I feel like shit. Where kind of is that? So I find myself right now trying to be careful with that. But I see exactly what you're saying of this unidentifiable journey.
Yeah, I feel like there's these two lenses of social media. That one is this, we used to follow people because they were perfect, like the perfect pregnancy, like they would have a baby and the next day they'd have a six-pack. Like I don't know how she got there, but I want to follow her because that's amazing. Or the people who are beautiful and rich. And then I feel like during 2020 we got this like influx of influencers who are relatable, where we were like, dang, like she just wears sweats and she's depressed and I'm also depressed and I wear sweats, so I'm gonna follow her. And now that the world is back, I feel like it's shifting again to more of like the unrelatable people, and I don't relate to that. Like I don't like that. I actually pre-2020 didn't follow a lot of people on social media because my mental health would see that, and I'd be like, how do I get a six-pack? How do I look perfect all the time? And like I started to really love social media during COVID because everyone was becoming so relatable. Mm-hmm. So now I'm finding myself having to unfollow a lot of people, or just like the creators I loved a few years ago I just don't love anymore, because I'm like, I've the only thing I feel from watching your content is like I feel like shit about myself because I don't look like you. I can't afford the same things as you. I'll never be where you are. And like, no shade to you, like that's so amazing you can accomplish that, but like since I can't right now, it's just making me feel bad about myself, and I don't need to consume that on a daily basis.
Totally. And I think what you're saying is really relatable for people. And I think the other thing is because you're talking about like the pendulum swinging, right? And on like relatable, aspirational, like where kind of content went. And I think once you go there and you follow all these aspirational people, aspirational is not even the right word, but it's like unrelatable lifestyles, right? This pie in the sky lifestyle. Once you follow that and you see how that felt, you're quick to be like, wait, I'm not going to feel that again. Like, I'm not going to let myself go back down that path of social media where I follow all these people that live this life, when it's like, I'm not living that life. I've realized I don't want to live that life. So like, I'm going to really protect my own peace. And I think a lot of people, you say the world's back after COVID, and I feel like it is. And more each summer, I think we're always like, okay, we're back. Now we're back. And it's like, I feel like we are, and people now are saying like, no, I learned the lesson the hard way during COVID, which is like, I just want to live the life that makes me happy.
Yeah. And like, I love that you are so like real about your pregnancy, because you know what would suck is if you showed up every day recording with your hair curled, your makeup done, wearing like this cute, tight workout top, and you're like, I feel great. This is awesome. Like, that's just not you or how you feel. And I remember one time someone was like, can you guys like dress a little nicer when you record? And I'm like, but that's not how we look on a regular basis. Like, you and I wear what we wear recording, I would say 99% of our lives. The only time I do my hair and makeup is Saturday, maybe Friday. and I only wear nice clothes on the weekends. Like I'm always dressed like this.
Yeah, comfy. Being really, really, really comfy is like so key for us. I totally agree. And I think we would try getting dressed up, but we tried it a couple times. And listen, when we were in Miami or something and we were recording our outfits, that was adorable, right? But we were actually going to dinner. And so it's like to get dressed up, our conversations, I remember we were like, our conversations changed. Like we have to be like, we're sitting in sweatpants chatting.
Yeah. I remember the only time I would dress up is like when I would go on dates after work, because that was just like what was true in my life. And now, like after we record at the end of the day, I'm going to sit my butt on the couch and binge watch The Hills tonight.
Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're going to do. Yeah. And I went on my walk this morning, and when I got back to the house, I said, great, I'm not leaving this place again today. So like I'll leave tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., but like I'm done. So
Which
I'm
I
home.
love. Alex, I meant to ask you this at the top of the recording, but how is the house hunting going in Austin?
Oh, it's good. There's a lot of like good options. It's just like so the Airbnb we're renting is the area we want to be in. And we like narrowed it down to 3, but I'm just like making sure we love this area. And I said this today on our walk to each other. I was like, man, every day that we're here, it's like, I don't doubt if we should move here. I'm like, it's like more affirmation. So I feel really good about Austin, and I feel really good about the area, and we have it narrowed down to 3. So hoping that we can like get one and then proceed from there. But I'm trying to be like patient, because it's just like once you get a house, you have to do like inspections. There's like, it's a really slow process. And so I'm like, okay, I'm having a hard time being kind of like displaced, like a nomad right now, but that's just the reality of it. And so being an Airbnb is like having a washer, dryer, dishwasher, like that's all makes it feel a bit more normal. But the house hunt's good. It's thorough, and there's definitely, it's not like New York. Like you don't find a place you love and have to put in the offer right then. It's like you have time. And so it's really nice.
How are the rent prices and stuff, or like the housing market there?
What you can get here for, and I think it's hard because Austin's expensive, right? Comparatively, like if you went back to both of where you and I were born and raised, rent prices there are going to be a lot lower than they are here. But like we're coming from New York. So if you take 2,500, 5,000 and then take 10,000 and compare it city to city, it's not close to what you can get here versus there.
I'm so excited for you to live in a house, because when was the last time you lived in a house? Because in Newport, you guys didn't live in a house, did you?
Not really. We lived in like it was kind of a house, but I haven't had a yard since I graduated college. Like,
is that wild?
It's wild. When was the last time you lived in a house?
The last time I had a yard was also college.
I mean, I feel like we have just earned yards, watering. I know we're describing the little things in life, a car, going to the grocery store. We went to Whole Foods, went to the grocery store, and I didn't have to, like, I'm sure you do this, but when I go to the store in New York, I get the baskets because if I can't carry it, I can't carry it home.
Yeah.
I went and got a shopping cart with wheels, loaded that thing up, took it to the car. I was like, this is it.
The other day, Pete and I went to the grocery store, and he literally had to bring a backpack because he had to fill that up, and then he carried a very heavy bag on one hand and then the other hand, and he's like, this still isn't even enough groceries for the week. Like, this is ridiculous. And I'm like, well, if we didn't live here and we had a car, we could do full-blown grocery shopping.
Having the car to the store, that's the thing. You can't get enough groceries for the week when you're carrying it yourself. So it's like, you need the car. I agree.
Yeah. I remember even living in an apartment in Minnesota, I still wouldn't do like full-blown grocery shopping because I would be like, I'm only buying groceries that I can carry up the stairs.
Yeah.
Because like in a house, you can just go back and forth so easily. But I'm like, in this apartment, I don't want to go up and down the elevator, up and down 3 flights of stairs. Like, I just want to make it in one sitting, and that's it.
No, it's like my parents walk in the garage door and it's the kitchen's right there and they just unload.
Yeah.
Listen, I know we're going to hate unloading groceries in 2 years, but it's like right now, I want to go to the store and stock up the little things in life. Perspective. We appreciate it.
Oh my God. I literally cannot wait to go to Rhode Island and sit on my parents' deck. I just want to sit on a deck and look at a yard.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You love sitting on that deck and I'm jealous of it. It's like, oh, summer. I can't wait. What's the number one thing you're looking forward to in summer?
I mean, honestly, going to Rhode Island.
Like that era being there. Yeah, I totally
I'm
get
so
that.
happy there. And it's unfortunate because it's very much a coast, or not a coastal, sorry. It's very much so a seasonal place. Like where my parents live, no one lives there full time. It's like dead before Memorial Weekend. Like between Memorial and Labor Day, that's when it's hopping. And then after that, like people go back to their houses like more inland, or their other houses if they're like really rich, or like go back to their snowbird destination. Like where my parents live, it's very much so like people just have like little beach cottages or little cabin cottages. It's not like where anyone lives full time.
Totally. That makes sense. But that's the whole
What about
thing about
you?
like I feel like summer, like that's the whole thing is like lake season starts. You know, what I'm excited about, this isn't going to be, I'm not going to love this summer, right? Like I'm just not. And I'm excited I'm going to Spain and Paris because of Harrison's mom's 70th birthday. And I'm excited for that. Very excited for that. But I'm excited for July to get here because that's when we'll be moving in and getting settled. And then I just have August and September. So I'm kind of looking forward to knocking the days down.
Yeah,
honestly.
I feel like for you, it's gonna, not to speak for anyone who's pregnant, but it's, my mom was pregnant in the summer and she always was like, it's just not the most fun to be pregnant in the summer either.
No, I'm gonna be going into my third trimester in the summer. Like I'll just be honest there. I'm not like thrilled for the summer, but it's
Yeah.
like, the weather will be great, and I love people's attitudes in the summer. I think people are really happy in the summer, so I'm excited to be around that vibe.
I agree. Before we get into the listener question, question for you, did you watch Bridgerton?
I watched 1 and part of 2.
Okay, so season 3 just came out 2 weeks ago now when this episode's coming out, and they split it into 2 parts. So like the first 4 episodes came out, and then I think like sometime in June the rest of the episodes will come out. But I don't know how other people are feeling about it, but I just did not enjoy the first couple episodes. I thought it was boring.
Didn't that happen back when the second season came out? Weren't people like, wait, why'd they swap the main character? And people were like, I'm not watching. I mean, I fell off there. And then every time Bridgerton, is it Shonda? Is Shonda doing that? The director of that? Okay. So she knows what she's doing clearly, but it's very interesting. It's like every time a new model of a car comes out, people hate it at first, and then I think they come around to it.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point because I don't remember. I think I waited to watch the second season when all of the episodes were out, and I loved the second season. Love, love, love. Second season's my favorite season, and then Queen Charlotte, which is a spin-off, was incredible, and then season 1 was also incredible. But I was watching it last night, and I was like going on my phone, and I was just a little disappointed. I'm like, usually I'm like this. Like,
right.
Oh my gosh. And maybe it's because they over sexualize the show and they kind of sell it as like a sexy show. And just like in the first 3 episodes, not to spoiler, but like no sexy stuff has happened. So maybe that's just like my expectations of sexy time is just not there. But I'm just like, okay, when is it going to get hot and heavy? Because that's what I look forward to in this show.
Yeah, there's no steam happening. I hope I might watch. I just finished Gilded Age, so I might actually get. And I'm kind of in that era of, like, I love the outfits back in the day. So maybe I will watch. I'll try season 2 from the top, and then I'll get into season 3 since it's out.
You should also watch Queen Charlotte. It's so good. It's just like a spin-off of Bridgerton.
Do I have to watch one and they can be watched totally separate? Okay, good.
Yeah, there's like no correlation besides one character that's in season 3, but no, they're like completely different stories. Actually no, I'm lying too. It's like a prequel of Bridgerton. It's about the queen who's in Bridgerton. She's Queen Charlotte. It's about her life. But you do not need to watch one or the other first to understand it.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, I'll try that actually because I'm in that era right now.
It's really
1800s,
good.
I guess maybe even later.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I think you would like it. Let's do a listener question.
Ladies, I need some advice. So my boyfriend and I have been dating for 2 years, and we've known each other for 5 or 6 years now. He went to the Army after high school graduation, recently got out, and is now working in the oil field. Needless to say, we don't have a lot of time together. However, we had that when you know spark when we first met. He is still living at his parents and saving money to move. I have an apartment all by myself and trying to put money away after bills are taken care of. Now things are starting to get really serious and we're looking at a house for us to live in together. A little background on my question to come. Growing up, my mom was a stay-at-home mom while my dad worked and provided for our family. Everything was in his name, and then one day he called it off with my mom. He jumped ship, leaving my mom with 2 kids, no job to pay the bills and no house. Thank goodness for my grandparents who helped us. Now my boyfriend's background is a little different. His mother is a stay-at-home mom and his dad works and provides for their family. I don't think I've seen a marriage as strong as theirs. They have lived and demonstrated to their kids the type of old school marriage where the man is the leader, boss, provider, and source of income. The mother tends to the kids, the house, and all other I had to change pages, and all other things to complete the family. Since my parents split, I set in my mind that when I move in with a significant other, every bill would be in my name as well as his. I refuse to end up in the place my mother was. When talking about the house we are currently looking at, he made it clear that the house would be in his name and he would be the provider, that we could split all other bills if necessary, but when he was buying the house, it was under his name only. Now, I understand he is not my dad, and it's unfair for me to put this on him as a pre-assumption for our future. I guess you could say it's a trigger for me. I don't know. What would you do and how would you handle working on this?
So like, what's the basis of this question?
Basically, she's scarred from her parents' divorce. He's got a lovely, aspirational parents' marriage. They're going to move into a house together. And he's saying, we're going to put this house in mine. And she's saying, my dad left my mom and left her high and dry. I want to be protected and I want my name on the house too.
And they're just dating?
They're dating, yeah, but things are getting more serious. They've been together for a long time.
Well, I'm in the firm belief that I don't think you should buy a house with your significant other unless you're married. So if he is fully buying the house, then I think it should be in his name. And then when they get married, they can swap it. Is that what's going on? Like, he's spending all his money and buying it?
No, actually, he lives at home right now and is saving, and she's actually also saving and working. So financially, they both have money.
Are they buying the house together?
It sounds like they're deciding that right now. He's saying, I'll buy the house. And I think she's saying, I want to take care of myself.
Oh, I don't know about you, but I don't think you should ever buy a house together with someone unless you're fully married. And I think that if he wants to buy it, let him, and then just come to the agreement that once you get married, the house will be under both of their names, if that's possible.
Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of a different angle of because I'm going through this right now, right? So I think come hell or high water, because listen, I got screwed in my last marriage from a person who I think if we were voting would all think probably wouldn't screw you. So had I bought a house with that person, I really can't imagine the position I would be in. And I think where he's coming from is a really traditional upbringing of dad paid for everything. Dad's the man of the house. Dad's got mom. And the problem with that is there's no one ever had conversations in that scenario about what if shit hits the fan. And luckily for his parents, it didn't. But I used to say when I got married, I was like, I will never, I didn't put protection into place because I thought nothing would ever go wrong. And I lived to tell the tale that something went wrong. And so it's I don't think there's any harm in him explaining to her, here's a way that we can both have a little bit of ownership in this house. And so she feels a little bit more comfortable. Because listen, if he's so sure nothing's going to go wrong, well, then no problem putting the insurance plan in place, I think. If she's worried about it, I see why she is. And I think if she can pay a little bit of the mortgage, I think he should let her do that. And then when they go, there are so many different lawyers that will help you there's even programs online that'll help you outline it in like a really fair way. And I think if she wants to be protected, she should.
No, I love that. And especially since you went through something similar and you have that experience, I love that outlook on it, because it's hard for me to answer something I haven't been through. But since you've been through it, I love how you responded to that.
And I would have answered it completely different the day I got married. But it's like never say never. And if you're so positive nothing's going to go wrong, what I would have told my younger self was, Alex, if you're so sure nothing's going to go wrong, well, then go ahead and put all those little plans into place. Do get a prenup that's very clear and do have you both sign it. But instead, I was like, I didn't sign it. And I was like, everything's going to be okay. And it's like, if everything's going to be okay, then go ahead, sign it.
Yeah, you do have to protect yourself. Like the other day, Pete and I were talking about when we do move to West Palm or anywhere, would we get a house or an apartment? And then something like got brought up about buying. And then I was like, I won't buy a house with you until we're engaged or married. And he was like, same. So since that's out of the question, we don't really want to rent a house. So then we brought up the apartment, because at the end of the day, like, I don't ever see myself not being with Pete, and he also feels the same way, but we have to protect ourselves, and it's just not smart to put yourself into that situation.
Totally. And Harrison and I haven't done it yet, but we're about to have next week like a really big talk about our finances, and like, because we're gonna have a kid together. And so it's like, who pays for what? When we buy this house, like, how do I take ownership in it? And like, he really wants me to understand that and explain it to me. So I'm really excited for that next week of like learning about that. Cause I didn't learn it round 1. And it's like, he's like, you're not messing it up round 2.
Yeah. And if you both can financially be 50-50, I say be 50-50. Like, she needs to tell him that he needs to allow her to be able to offer more, because that makes her feel more comfortable and more secure. And that's what's the most important thing at the end of the day, is that they both are feeling very secure in the relationship.
Totally. I totally agree. I think she's valid. I think, of course, she's scarred from her dad leaving her mom. So like, if there's ways he can help her with that, then I think he should be happy too.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Okay.
Perfect.
Do you have a rec?
Oh, my rec was the hills. What's your what are we talking about?
Yeah. It's hills. My rec was the Gilded Age again. So the season 2 I think is just like really good. If you watch season 1.
So your homework assignment is to watch another season of Bridgerton or Queen Charlotte, and my homework will be to finish The Hills.
Yes, please finish The Hills and let us know.
I want to know what happens at the last episode, because I have no idea.
Yeah. Does Pete know? Did you ask Pete if he knows like what we're talking about?
He can't remember. I think he was more of a Laguna Beach fan. But I also told him if he does know, if he spoils it, I will never speak to him again. So
good. I think if you've made it this far without anybody spoiling it, I don't think anybody will.
So that's our homework assignment.
Yep. Okay, great. Okay, I can't wait to report back.
Okay, perfect. And we will see you guys next Monday.
Happy Memorial Day.
Oh,
Is it Memorial Day?
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
Yeah, when the episode comes out. Happy Memorial Day.
Okay, that's it for today's episode. As always, thank you for listening to Mean Girl Pod, powered by Just Media House. I'm Alex Bennett.
And I'm Jordyn Woodruff. So, AB, do what you do best.
If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, rate, and review. We are at Mean Girl Pod on all platforms. Stay connected with us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Snapchat at Mean Girl Pod. Podcast and social artwork and post-production by Creative Evolution Studios. Theme song to the Mean Girl Pod performed by Sergi Asbel. Mean Girl Pod, we're your besties in your ear. New episodes every Monday.